like to start by sharing a little bit about my story. I am sure that many of you can relate or may have very similar experiences. I learned a very hard truth at a young age. School isn't safe. You see, I've always known that I was different, even before I could put a label on it. But they understood why. And because I didn't fit their standard of what a normal boy should be, talk, or look and act like, I was forced to sit alone at lunch every day. I played by myself at recess. Nobody picked me to be on their team or in their reading group. And if being isolated wasn't enough, I was verbally and physically assaulted. The teacher said, "Why don't you defend yourself and they'll leave you alone?" The school nurse just offered me water and an ice pack. The principal would call my mom and say, "You know, boys will be boys," as she laughed it off, minimizing my suffering. There was no protection. Of course, the teachers and staff would all look at me with their sad eyes and heads held down low, as if to know that they saw my pain, but did anyone intervene on my behalf? Did anyone speak up for me? No, school just wasn't safe. How could I learn if I wasn't first and foremost safe? Isn't safety a basic need that should be provided under the umbrella of our educational construct? Yet no one. Finally, my mom did realize something was very wrong. She asked for the incident reports of my various assaults and received 7 pages of instances where I was physically assaulted. And that did not include the verbal and emotional abuse I endured. I had lost an entire year of my education trying to survive and failing to thrive. Oh, and did I mention this took place in elementary school before I even hit double digits. As the days go by and by, you start to believe you deserve being treated that way. I thought something must be wrong with me, or they wouldn't treat me this way. Why do people hate me? I started getting knots in my stomach every morning before school. I dreaded it. I screamed inside my head, but I suffered outwardly in silence. There was no help for me. The damage was done. School was now and forever associated with my trauma. How many of you can relate? So fast forward to the age of 11, where I found myself depressed and suicidal. I couldn't deny it anymore. It was time to say what I was, but I had seen the coming out stories before me, and I was terrified. Terrified of being rejected or worse. See, these are the things no one wants to talk about when they want to dehumanize us and reduce our worth, or flat out deny our human rights. Is it worth a life? Can you really be pro-life and deny me mine? As much as people say misery loves company, I would have preferred it if I were alone in this. If only it were just my school, city, town, or state. But as you can see, kids like me are under attack all across our nation. And they would have you think it was for our own protection. Protection from what? Try as you may, but you cannot ban a people's existence. And we cannot stand for anything less than human rights. Are we not all human? Because contrary to what you may have been taught, we are all one race, the human race. But no, they would have us believe that we should be grouped according to our kind and factions, so we could turn against each other or treat certain groups of people as if they were less than human. Enough is enough. We will not be swept under a rug like a dirty secret. America already has enough of those. But do you know what America doesn't have enough of? Love. Because if you love someone, you will consider them. Respect. Because if you respect someone, you won't demean them. And kindness. Because when you are kind to someone, you wouldn't hurt them. It's funny because these are words that I have heard tossed around in the political arena from the very people who are ripping away our human rights. Does anyone here find it insane that a child has to stand up here today to fight for the right to live peacefully and happily in their truth? Do we not deserve the same protections, rights, and freedoms as those who create the laws? The hypocrisy is rich in this soil. If you don't want to patron a store, don't. You have that right. If you don't like what you see on TV, turn the channel. You have that right.
Yes.
If you don't want to take your child to a drag show, then don't. The solution is so simple. You get to decide. You get to choose. That is supposed to be the beauty of this country, and I hope one day it will truly live up to the dream. But I tell you this, I am not going to live in a nightmare. We kids will not be silent. Our allies will not be silent. Though I am a child, I find the hatred towards things that don't affect you to be childish. So I ask you this, will you lead your actions with love? Can you respect my right to live my life? Can you find it in your heart to be kind to all? If your answer is no to any of these, I would venture to say we are not the problem. I am, however, only 14 years old and unable to vote, but the adults here can. I challenge you all to speak up and vote. Speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Be an advocate for all human rights, not just your own. If the children are the future, please leave us with one.